Welcome to Donuts with a Sprinkle of Social Media, the podcast for all small business owners.
I'm your host, Sean Moat, and with 15 years experience in digital marketing, I've got a passion for small businesses and social media. Each week we'll speak to a business owner, find out about their business and their struggles with social media. So let's dive into this week's episode.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Donuts with a Sprinkle of Social Media. This is episode 3, and I have another amazing guest on today. It is Mel Foley from Drumnadroric Design. I know I've got that probably wrong, haven't I, Mel?
It's getting better.
we had some attempts before we started recording. So Mel is just up the road from me, and you started from a side hustle to a full-time business. Why don't you tell us a bit more about what you do, Mel, and your business?
So I run an embroidery and printing business. I do mainly branded workwear, but I do a lot of personalised stuff as well. So that can be anything random from stag and hen do t-shirts to personalised teddy bears, or just some kind of silly saying that someone says all the time on a t-shirt or something random like that. So it's very varied, but it's good. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. And I was reading just before we got online today that it's also next month's a special date for your business as well, isn't it? You started in 2021, and I believe that next year is next month is your third year in business, isn't it?
It is. It's my 3rd year anniversary, which is quite unbelievable to think it's been 3 years since we first started. So yeah, and it's just growing every year, which is fantastic.
Yeah. And do you want to tell us how did you start your business? I'm interested on how you got going.
Yeah, so I just kind of fell into it, really. I have been around horses all my life. I am a qualified horse riding instructor. I've been a manager of a riding school and a charity, always kind of worked with horses. And at the time when I set this business up, I was actually back to work with horses after having the kids. I was running a charity. However, like 6 years previous to now, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. And when I went back to work with the horses, that was all great. It was all fine, but I was just finding I wasn't quite as fit as what I used to be. But then also trying to juggle working with kids. If they were ill, I had to take the day off and all that kind of stuff. It was just quite difficult to try and manage it all. And at one point my workload got really quite high, and my health was kind of taking a toll. So I decided I needed to find something that I could do from home that would hopefully eventually build up to being a full-time job. So my daughter had been given a hoodie a couple of years before that with like her name, her pony's name on it, and a silhouette of a pony on it, and she absolutely loved this hoodie. And I thought, I wonder how difficult it is to do that. So kind of researched into it more. Bought myself like some vinyl and a vinyl cutter and a really cheap heat press, and just started playing about at home and really enjoyed it and thought, yeah, this is probably something I could do. So started up, did a couple of personalised things, and then was getting approached by businesses to do workwear. And then more and more people were asking for embroidery. And so I ended up getting an embroidery machine. But within that sort of 8-month period of getting starting up and getting my embroidery machine, my grandmother was also diagnosed with dementia, which meant having to keep driving down to Edinburgh, which is like 3 hours away, just to make sure she was okay. Unfortunately, she passed away in August last year, but she was a real driver in sort of getting my business to sort of go full time, because I couldn't just ask for time off work all the time and just drop things and run. Whereas if I've got my own business, people are really understanding if you need to drop things and go for a family member. So they understand. a little bit more. And yeah, so sort of within 11 months of starting the business, I went full time. And it was just, yeah, it's just grown
Yeah.
and grown from there.
And I know the stuff that you do is absolutely amazing. You've got testimonials galore. I'm waiting for my little donut pig to come home.
Yeah.
And Mel's super busy, but always there. And no question is ever a problem. So you are a little bit different to some other companies, aren't you? That some companies won't touch a single item, will they? And I believe that's a bit of your mission, isn't it? That you're willing to take on single items to large orders, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely. I just feel like a lot of people don't want to take on those single orders, and I can understand why, because if you've got loads and loads of single orders, it's quite a lot of workload to do. You're putting the same amount of effort into one item as you would do to, 100 items with regards to setting things up and, looking at colours or whatever. But I kind of feel that no matter how big or small your business is, you should still have access to the same quality of workwear without having to pay a ridiculous fee for getting it. It's also sort of that personalised service of, I want workwear, I'm starting my new business, I don't know what colour is going to go with what, right, let's have a look at your logo, let's go with it. Have you got, branding colours, things like that, let's see what we can work with. Some people take it to, quite extremes, and they're like, we've got Pantone colours, we want it matched to as close Pantone colours as possible, and that's fine, we'll do that as well. But it's just sort of that customer service point, and yet it does take a little bit longer to go through the process from, starting it to ordering it to actually getting it. But the whole way through, I want to make sure that the customer's got a good journey, knows what's happening, and make sure they've got a quality product at the end of it. And if I'm not happy with the quality that I've put out, I'll say, we need to delay this for a bit because this isn't right, I need to sort it, kind of thing. So yeah, I'm all about the quality in the service rather than the speed of just trying to get things done and out the door.
Yeah, and I think that's key, isn't it? That's built your reputation is the quality of the work. I know with my own ordering and with yourself, with my partner's business, the cleaner, there was some to and fro regarding getting the colour of the house right, and I just felt that if you'd gone online or gone to eBay or anything like that, they wouldn't care. They'll just print whatever they want, and then you get it and you come unhappy. And I think that's been key in my customer journey with you, is that every step of the way, you've been there to say, this is what we're doing, is this right? And you just don't get that with shopping online, do you? And I think that's really key for anyone who's looking for branded workwear.
Well, even with the donut pig, I've delayed that even slightly because I stitched it out and I wasn't happy with how it's looked, so I've sent it back to get it redone to make sure that I'm happy with how it's going to stitch out and that everything looks right before I go ahead and do your clothing. So as soon as it's perfect, you'll get it, but until it's not perfect, until it's perfect, it won't be coming to you. You're not going to see this because it's on a podcast, but there you go.
Yeah. So me and Mel met quite recently. Oh,
did you see it or did you not see it?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, she's going to be happy with that. It was just a complicated design, wasn't it? Because the house, on our website, the house fades, and it can be difficult, isn't it? So, but then when we had a discussion, I felt that our previous workwear had not had a fade in it, and I'm telling Melody, yeah, all our previous workwear had fades in it, and then I took a picture of my van, and that didn't have a fade in it. It was just purely on the website that had a fade in it. It's just that personal bit, isn't it?
Well, that's what I like. I like
so me and Mel, we met.
There's a bit of a delay here, sorry. Yeah, I like going
Right,
backwards and
go on,
forwards and
Mel.
just making sure everything's okay and making sure it's all right before, and the customer's happy before you get it. Because there's nothing worse than getting something through the door and you're not happy.
Yeah. So I can't wait to see my little piggies. So me and Mel, we met only a few months ago, really. I was introduced to this amazing network organization called Circle Networks. And now me and Mel, well, Mel was already running her group on a Thursday, and now I've joined her to run the opposite fortnight. Circle Networks is brilliant. It's all around friendship fuels business, and I think that's key, especially where we are, Mel, isn't it? I think we're up in the northeast of Scotland, and it's about um, trusting the people that you're working with, and sometimes I think that's where Circle Networks helped me open the doors to a lot of other people that are there to help you regardless of what the question is.
Yeah, networking's been a massive part in building the business, and for me, Circle Networks has been, I suppose, a bit more of a social life than a lot of I mean, I've got a lot of business out of it, don't get me wrong. I've ended up getting quite a bit of money from networking, and that's fantastic, but the support and the friendships you get, because when you're in business on your own, it can be a lonely time. If you're not having calls with clients and stuff a lot of the time, it can be quite lonely. So actually having that support network that you can go on to and meet people, and yet online, but I've made some amazing friendships through Circle Networks of people I speak to every day, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, and I think that's key what you said there. Being in business on your own, you're the same as me, just a sole operator. It is lonely, and having a trusted circle of network that ties in quite well. Circle of networks that you can call upon, even if you are just doubting yourself. I remember last week Jessie put into our group that she put a message on about an LinkedIn post, and everyone rallied around. I think that's just so key for Circle Network, isn't it?
Yes. It's especially for me when I was first sort of gone full time at home, and I was home 24/7, so like I wasn't seeing anybody anymore. And it was just that, oh, there's a meeting at 1 o'clock, let's hop on and join in. And even if you're feeling a wee bit flat or just fed up, or because starting a business, you're not always busy straight away, and you sometimes just need that little boost with folks saying, yeah, keep going, you'll do it, you'll be fine. And it was just that little pick me up that you needed, and that support. And everyone's been in the same boat at some point, so there's just so many different businesses in there as well. It's such a fantastic support network. So networking, regardless of whether it's Circle Networks, we'll always say it's Circle Networks because it is the best networking group, but regardless of what you do, I think networking is a massive boost to your business, and whether you like it or not, you need to embrace it, I think, anyway.
Yeah. I think, for me, so at 1 o'clock today, I am virtually off to Dubai. And then tomorrow at 1 o'clock, I'll be joining Mel in our North Circle. So it just really opens the door to being able to network, and especially now worldwide. The Circle Networks is definitely growing, and it's giving you that opportunity to network with people that maybe, especially us, I suppose us, Mel, being up here, limited networking events, it's really opened the door to be able to network with people across the UK.
Yeah, I've got contacts I do a dance group in Bristol. Like, how ridiculous is that? Like, up in the northeast of Scotland, and I'm doing dance group uniform for a group in Bristol. It's just crazy. It's everything from Shetland to to London now. I'm doing workwear for, which I wouldn't have had the opportunity to do if it hadn't been for Circle Networks. It was a pivotal moment in making the business go from local to national. So
yeah, and I think with I'm looking forward to September. And I know you are, Mel. That'll be your second year down there. Circle Live. I believe you don't even have to be a member, do you, Mel, if you want to come along to Circle Live? It's on the
no, you can just pop on and come along.
Yeah, 23rd of September. You can join. It's in Birmingham. You can join virtually, or you can join face to face. Go to circlenetworks.co.uk and get your ticket. It's well worth it. It's a no pitch event, so it's all about giving you value to your business. So on to social media, Mel. I know that you are on there, and I do follow you. What do you love about social media? And then we'll get on to the hates.
I have really not got much negative to say about social media because Facebook is basically where my business was built. Without Facebook, I'm not sure how quick a reach I would have had, but I built a lot of connections through previous sort of direct selling company I was part of. And so I had quite a lot of connections and things anyway. So when I said I was starting up this, it was quite well received, and just word got about quite quickly. And I think especially up here, there's very much of a support local kind of nature. So if people can buy from people locally to them, they will do. So I think I was really lucky in that Facebook kind of did a bit of work for me. And it's really funny because even now there's people that I know and they don't know that it's me that runs this business, but they've seen the business on social media and they just don't know it's me that's doing it, which is quite funny. But yeah, I would say Facebook has been the biggest sort of platform for me to at least get the business started and grow in and get the word of mouth out. And it's still where I get the most of my inquiries from, is Facebook. So I can't really say anything negative about social media because it's been a massive pillar to get my business off the ground.
Yeah, and then it's so visual, and what you do, it just makes it so perfect for social media because you can show what you deliver, and just looking over some of the stuff you do, it's so varied. I know that your favourite time of the year is when the schools leave. You love that time of the year, don't you, Mel?
Not gonna lie, I'm glad we're getting to the end of it now. It's like all these things though, because in business you have to take these little, seasons, what we call seasons. So like we've had leaver season, and then you've got Christmas at the end of the year. So it's the two guaranteed times of the year where you're going to get work from, and you just have to totally embrace it and go with it. But yeah, I'm quite glad that my leaver season is finished now. It has been a busy time, but there is a massive sense of pride when I see all the kids going about in their hoodies, and especially because my son was leaving primary 7 this year, so I got to do his whole year's hoodies. So 54 kids going about in hoodies that I've made, and kids that I've known since they were really little, really tiny, maybe even babies, some of them. And to see them all going about in hoodies that I've made is just really quite a proud moment, and quite emotional if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, and I think again that just shows you that, I know that you've been extremely busy during leaver season, and that again goes down to the quality of what you're providing. It's all about repeat business, isn't it? And I know that how busy you've been, and we joke about your favourite time of the year, but I know that you've been really, really busy. For anyone watching the video podcast, I'm just putting up Mel's website, so please go along and find out more about what Mel does, and get in touch with her. And like you say, find her on Facebook, because that's where you'll see all the products that she's previously done. And I was watching your video of your building that you're in. You've got that. You've recently moved into that, wasn't you? Last year, was it? You moved into your porter cabin.
Yeah, it was just in October I moved in, but the actual cabin has been sitting here for nearly 2 years now. but when I got it, it was just a shell. There was like one plug socket in it, and these walls were all like brown melamine. It was just like a basic site office, and that was it. So we've put all sort of kitchen units in. So I've got a nice high worktop. My machines are sort of up the back. The embroidery machines are up the back. I've got a clothes rail with samples and things on, so people come and see it. And then I've got this desk where I'm sitting at just now. It's just a nice low desk, as like a computer desk, and paperwork and my vinyl cutter and things are on there as well. So it's a really nice, organised space. Much better than my dining room.
I know we laugh because I'm in my garage, and it's amazing what workspaces work for each other, isn't it? And I think having that dedicated space allows for the separation from work and home, isn't it? Especially when you work, your commute's 5 minutes from your back door. I think it's important to have that separation to be able to switch off from your day-to-day work. So if someone was thinking about starting their own business, like yourself, what would be your top tip for them?
Don't hold back. Like, don't be frightened to tell people about what you're doing, who you are, what you can do for people. I think some people, when they first start, they're a bit reserved and, I don't want to sort of constantly tell people about this. They might like unfollow or switch off or whatever. Yeah, whatever. They're not your people. Just honestly, just go for it. Tell everyone about it. And you just really need to put yourself out there. You need to not be afraid to put yourself out there and go to as many meetings as you can, meet as many people as you can. I think that is the biggest thing, is just building those connections, and don't be frightened to tell people about what you're doing. Put it on social media, put it on Instagram. It can be quite overwhelming.
That's key. I think for me, things happen for a reason. I think I was very fortunate. The way I started my business was my employee offered me a 50% pay cut, and I went, I can do this, and I've been gone from strength to strength and got a second company and amalgamated them together, and recently gone through that rebrand to Donut Pig, and I think that's key as well, is having a brand that stands out in such a busy, especially on social media. You need something to stand out on social media. So embroidery, heat press, personalized goods. You are the queen of bespoke workwear individual items, aren't you?
I'll take that.
So if we were I think one of the things that I think that you do is quite amazing is your small business owner package, isn't it? If you want to tell people listening a bit more about that.
Yeah, so I do a package which is like 2 polo shirts, 2 hoodies or sweatshirts, and a soft shell jacket with logo set up and logo embroidery on the left chest for £110. So it's just a great start up for someone, or if they just want to have a freshen up of the workwear, then it's ideal for someone in that position.
Yeah, and like we were saying earlier, it's the personalised service that Mel offers, that you can start with that package and add. So I've added an additional logo onto the sleeve, and and just work with Mel to get what you want. So it's it's a brilliant opportunity to get workwear, because I wear mine every day. If I'm down the shops, I'll put my jacket on, and it's funny how you can get people talking about you. You hear them talking about you behind you as you're going down the aisle. Oh, donut pig, donut pig. So it's a good opportunity to wherever you go to get your name out, isn't it? With branded workwear.
Yeah, just whatever you want, like hoodies, t-shirts, jackets, umbrellas, like shopping bags, because everyone uses a reusable shopping bag these days. Like, there's so many ways of getting your name out there without necessarily even wearing it. Must admit, there is times when I'm on holiday where you don't maybe necessarily want to be wearing your branded stuff, but when you're out and about the rest of the time, get that brolly up with your logo on, or get your hoodie on, or get your jacket on while you're watching the kids' football. Tell people about yourself, because no one else is going to do it for you.
Yeah, definitely. It's important to get your brand out there, and especially as a small business, it gets more and more challenging as the marketplace gets busy. So definitely check out Mel. I'll stick her website back up again for anyone looking for that branded workwear, or even personalized items. I know you do hen and stag do sort of stuff, won't you, as well? Like you say, the personal branded teddies and everything else. I've had the fortunate of being on a network meeting while Mel's been busy working, so we get to see behind the scenes on a number of occasions.
Trying to keep up with everything at the same time.
Yeah. So so check out Mel's website. Drop her a direct message on Facebook, and get your branded workwear. Mel, it's been brilliant speaking to you today. Any final thoughts or anything else you want to get across to our viewers about you and your amazing business?
Pretty much covered it all. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm delighted to have been one of your first people to have on your podcast, and long may it continue.
Yeah. Thank you very much for joining us, Mel. Listen in to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and you can find us on YouTube as well. It's been lovely speaking to you, Mel, and we'll catch up tomorrow at the North Circle Networks meeting. So anyone wants to come along, it's on a Thursday, 1:00, and depending on which Thursday you come along, you'll either get Mel or me. So I'd work out to get Mel's, because Mel looks a lot prettier than me. So right, that's all from us at Donuts with a Sprinkle of Social Media. Thanks for joining us, and tune in next week.